Welcome to this course on environmental management. In this course, we will explore both the scientific and regulatory dimensions of managing environmental issues, with a strong emphasis on environmental toxicology and its applications in policy, risk assessment, and sustainable management. The course is divided into two modules. In Module 1, we will focus on the foundations of environmental toxicology, mechanisms of toxicity, specific organ toxicities, and applied toxicology. In Module 2, we will shift to environmental law, regulatory policies, and frameworks guiding environmental protection, particularly in Nigeria. Let us begin Module 1. Section 1, Introduction to Environmental Toxicology. Environmental toxicology is the study of how chemicals and toxic agents affect the health of humans, animals, and ecosystems. It combines principles from biology, chemistry, and environmental science to understand exposure, mechanisms of harm, and ways to mitigate risks. The world is full of toxic agents. Some are naturally occurring, such as heavy metals and plant toxins, while others are man-made, including pesticides, solvents, dyes, and industrial pollutants. Regulatory oversight exists to ensure these substances are properly managed to protect public health and the environment. Understanding the fate of chemicals is central. Chemicals may persist, degrade, or accumulate in soil, water, air, or living organisms. Their movement and transformation determine their risk potential. Section 2, Adverse Effects and Dose Response. Chemicals can cause adverse effects depending on dose, route of exposure, and individual susceptibility. A cornerstone of toxicology is the principle that the dose makes the poison. Small amounts of a substance may be harmless, while higher amounts may be lethal. To determine if a chemical is harmful, toxicologists use dose-response assessment. This involves studying how varying levels of exposure produce different levels of effect. Thresholds may exist, below which no harm is observed. Above these thresholds, risks rise significantly. Section 3, Toxic Effects of Pesticides and Regulation. Pesticides are widely used in agriculture but pose risks to human health and ecosystems. Toxic effects may include neurological damage, reproductive harm, and cancer. Pesticides can also contaminate water supplies and affect non-target organisms, including beneficial insects. Regulation of pesticides involves setting safety limits, approving safe formulations, and monitoring residues in food and the environment. Risk management strategies aim to balance agricultural productivity with safety and sustainability. Section 4, Risk Assessment and Risk Management. Risk assessment is the process of estimating the potential harm from exposure to toxic agents. It involves 4 steps. Hazard identification, determining whether a chemical can cause harm. Dose-response assessment, quantifying the relationship between exposure and effect. Exposure assessment, measuring how much exposure occurs, through air, food, water, or occupation. Risk characterization, combining the above to estimate risk levels. Risk communication and risk perception are equally important. The public must understand risks clearly, and policies should reflect not only scientific data but also social and cultural concerns. Section 5, Mechanisms of Environmental Toxicants. Toxicants interact with biological systems in multiple ways. Mechanisms of toxicity include interaction with target molecules, such as enzymes or DNA. Cellular dysfunction and toxicity, including oxidative stress or interference with cell signaling. Repair and disrepair, where the body attempts to fix damage but may fail, leading to disease. Specific areas of study include carcinogenesis and genetic toxicology, where chemicals cause mutations or promote cancer. Neurotoxicology, focusing on effects on the brain and nervous system. Cardiovascular toxicology, involving impacts on heart and blood vessels. Toxicology of organs such as the lung, kidney, intestine, and skin. Reproductive toxicology and teratology, where chemicals impair fertility or cause birth defects. Section 6, Emerging Areas in Toxicology. Modern toxicology includes new and specialized fields. Nanotoxicology, studying the impact of engineered nanomaterials. Ecotoxicology, effects on ecosystems, such as fish and wildlife. Immunotoxicology, impacts on immune system function. Toxicology of heavy metals, solvents, dyes, and pesticides, areas of special concern due to industrial use. Analytical and forensic toxicology, using science to detect toxins in environmental and criminal investigations. Occupational and industrial toxicology, managing risks in workplaces with chemical exposure. Whole animal and environmental toxicology, considering interactions across species and ecosystems. Special case studies include organohalogens and radionuclides in fish and mammals, both of which highlight bioaccumulation and food safety concerns. In this first module, we have explored the foundations of environmental toxicology, mechanisms of toxicity, and toxic effects across organs, species, and ecosystems. We also examined pesticide use, risk assessment, and emerging toxicological disciplines such as nanotoxicology and immunotoxicology. In Module 2, we will examine regulatory policies, environmental laws, and institutional frameworks, with a focus on Nigeria's environmental protection system.